Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you my honest, non-spoiler review of Hulk vs. Thor Banner of War Alpha. This is part 1 of 5 of this new Hulk vs. Thor crossover that Marvel Comics is doing. At the time of this recording, this just came out yesterday, Wednesday, May 11th, and I just got done reading it. I'm going to say right off the bat, this was a really great issue. I went into it with super low expectations because I heard some pretty mixed things about it. Some people liked it, some people didn't, but man, this really delivered, and it was a lot better than I expected it to be. We'll get a little bit more into the artwork, a little bit more into the writing. Don't worry, no major spoilers like I said for the issue itself. This issue, the writing is by Donny Cates, obviously. The reason that they're doing this whole crossover is because Donny Cates is writing the Hulk ongoing series and the Thor ongoing series. It's also both of those characters' 60th anniversaries this year, so they gotta do some sort of crossover, right? Turns out they're doing this huge fight, and a lot of people are a little bit surprised by this because we haven't really had too much lead up to this fight. And I will say my one problem that I had with the issue, although everything else was pretty great besides this, was that there wasn't actually any reason at all for the fight. It kind of just came out of nowhere. Basically, we got this idea that Thor has just figured out that Hulk is out there somewhere in the multiverse, and then he's able to just teleport over and fight him because of this whole El Paso situation that we've got going on in the pages of Hulk. To give you guys a little bit of a lowdown, we've got two different kind of strange situations that have been going on in the pages of Hulk and of Thor, and Donny Cates has really been changing up the status quo of both of those characters lately in their different series. The Hulk one just started. We've got this new concept where it's the Starship Hulk, which basically just means that Bruce Banner is like piloting the Hulk from inside of his mindscape. So he's got this control room mindscape, and he's controlling this outside, Starship Hulk. It's all equipped with different equipment and stuff. There's some sort of like magic that he's used to make all of this work in the first place. That's not really been explained yet. But then the Hulk psyche is what's powering the Starship Hulk. Sounds really confusing. It kind of is. If you've been reading Hulk, then you'll understand what the deal is. And I will say this issue actually does explain everything really nicely. There's like this, I guess, like 4 or 5 page sequence at the beginning. This is an oversized issue, so they had the room to tell it. And it's all narrated by Uatu the Watcher. He's at like this special like stadium that they have in the middle of space. I think it's called the Black Hand of God. I recall that being in some other Donny Cates series recently. It might have been the Thor series. And he's just like eating popcorn talking about this whole Hulk versus Thor situation. I'm really happy that Uatu is back in Marvel Comics for good now after being resurrected in Fantastic Four. I feel like him being missing for, I don't know, it was like 6 or 7 years after the whole original Sin event. That was a bad move on Marvel's part because he's a really good narrator for any series, especially like What If type stuff. But he's explaining both their backstories in the issue, right? So for Thor, we have this new situation after the God of Hammer story arc. Spoiler warning. Basically, Odin died in that. He gave all of his Odin force to Thor and therefore like sacrificed himself. And now it turns out that Odin's psyche, or like his mind or whatever, has now been uploaded into Mjolnir. So he's communicating with Thor through Mjolnir. That's their new situation going on. By the end of the issue, we see that there are kind of psyche things that are going on with Odin being in Thor's hammer and Bruce Banner being inside the mindscape, the control room of Hulk. Those two things kind of intersect in a really interesting way. We've gotten that kind of given away already in the cover for the next part of this event, which is Thor 25. I'm not going to spoil it though, you gotta read this for yourself. Now that I've gotten all that out of the way, though, I do want to talk about the writing and the artwork. Writing by Donny Cates, he really delivered. I honestly haven't been that big a fan of Hulk, especially. Thor's been a little bit better, but that one has also not been so great since it's like original couple story arcs, in my opinion. But this one, he did a really good job on. This whole arena setting of Hulk and Thor fighting each other is great. I mean, I know it's kind of copying the Thor Ragnarok movie. All the same, though, I thought that was really cool, and I like the concept of this Black Hand of God, like special arena that Donny Cates has invented. The artwork, though, I really want to highlight this. Martin Coccolo is the artist on this, someone that not too many people are familiar with. He really, really did great on the artwork here. It's a little bit simplistic. It's not too similar to what you'll see in the pages of Hulk and Thor, but it still really does work. The colors, working with Martin Coccolo's pencils are really awesome. Also, Matt Wilson, one of my favorite colorists in the business. So artwork was great. Writing was also great. I always give you guys something out of 10 for these single issue reviews. For this first one, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I really, really like this issue, pretty thoroughly enjoyed pretty much every element of it, but like I said earlier in the video, the only thing that kind of threw me off a little bit was that there wasn't too much of an actual reason for Hulk and Thor to battle, but it turns out that we've just got this supposed like murdering of 17 people that Hulk did in a bar in El Paso, Texas, like a long time ago, right? And Thor is like angry at him, wants to bring him back in, but Hulk just wants to be left alone like he always does. So that was my only problem with it. Other than that, though, I really, really like this issue. You You guys gotta check this out for yourselves. Nothing that's like Marvel Universe changing. Maybe these characters will come out of this event different than they started in it. All the same though, this is just a really fun issue, and that's what I really wanted from it. That it's not taking itself too seriously. I really liked how the Watcher was in it. There's some great different elements in here, and the cliffhanger, I really like the concept behind that as well. Make sure you guys pick this up at your local comic shop. There's a link down in the description to find your local comic shop if you've never been to one before. If you guys liked the video, if you got some good info from it, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below as well. You can also hit the notifications bell to be notified every time I post a new video if you don't want to miss any. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.